Welcome to episode number 51 of Hoop Talk Fanatics. I am here with my co-host Chris Korn, and we are excited to talk about what has happened these past couple of days in the NBA playoffs. And there's been some exciting matchups to look forward to, and I'm really excited to talk about it.
It's gonna be awesome. We got the big one for the Sixers last night, and all these series have the chance to be great, and
Mhm.
it's gonna be an exciting rest of the playoffs.
So let's dive into the first series, which is Phoenix and Denver. Um, that series has been a really interesting one. I think the Denver Nuggets look like the better team, although Kevin Durant and Devin Booker have been absolutely phenomenal. Um, and as of now, it's hard to say who will win this series, but I think the way Jokic and Jamal Murray and everyone else for the Nuggets, I think that they are the better team to advance.
I agree. Like Jokic went crazy last night. I think he had like
Yeah.
40 or something. That's not normally his game, but he was just feeling it. And just Booker's been good. KD's been good, but his shots haven't been falling. I
Hmm.
think he's played decent, but like he's been missing a lot of shots. And you said like Denver's overall depth is just so much better than Phoenix. Like you got Christian Brown, Bruce Brown coming off the bench for Denver. They have like a lot of different guys. And just it seems like Phoenix has really been reliant on KD and
Hmm.
Booker. And with KD's not necessarily struggling, but he's definitely had some issues shooting the ball. I don't know what his stats are percentage wise, but I know they're not great. DeAndre Ayton's been okay. And like Chris Paul got hurt, so that's a big
Hmm.
factor. He has struggled too, though. But like outside of those main four guys, they haven't really had anybody step up. I feel like think they've tried some different rotations. And I think one of the big things for them against the Clippers was Torrey Craig had a lot of games where he made like maybe I'm always exaggerating, but he was hitting multiple threes. And a lot of times I think he had a couple games where it's 4 or 5 made threes. So like that was a big in that series, having him really helping stretch the floor and open things up for so that allowed Booker and KD to get more space and whatnot. And I think that really helped open the floor. And I feel like Phoenix has kind of really been tinkering trying to find that guy. They played Damian Lee a little bit more because he didn't play a lot in that series. They're trying a lot of different stuff, but they really haven't had anybody step up in that role yet. And I don't know if they can win that series unless they get probably two guys really stepping up alongside the stars. So it's definitely something to watch. At home, you do see role players play better typically. So we could get Toy Craig in his rhythm, Damian Lee, maybe campaign. They have a few different guys, but it's going to be really interesting to see.
Hmm. Uh, moving on to the Sixers and Celtics. That was a masterclass offensively and defensively for Philadelphia. I felt like uh, James Harden definitely took over the game, and the way that he's been performing at a high level has really brought the Sixers team uh, on a low. And I think that the way they're handling ball pressure against the Celtics offense, especially um, uh, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and some others, are a really crucial thing to watch from Sixers perspective. And I feel like the Sixers team is hungry for a championship run, and the way they've played without Embiid last night really makes me think that they are a different team than in the past, and they can't just rely on Embiid all the time. And just the way Tyrese Maxey and everyone else on the squad, I just feel like this could be a series where it goes seven.
I agree. I like what you said early on. You mentioned I don't know exactly what you said, but you talked about how they kind of were sharing and they took care of the ball better.
Hmm.
And they only had, I think, 6 turnovers is what I just saw. I'll just take it. 6 turnovers in the whole game. And Boston probably had close to 20. I don't have their exact number in front of me, but they turned it like the turnover margin was big. And
Hmm.
I thought there was a lot of ISO ball from Harden, which was expected. And I felt he delivered. Like he was sensational. Like he was the
Hmm.
star. Like, he's the main talking point. But Tyrese Maxey was good. PJ Tucker did a lot of good things. He didn't take a shot, and I think ideally he's gonna be in a spot where he can knock down some threes, but they really didn't need it. I
Hmm.
felt like as much yesterday because they shot the ball really well as a team. Melton with 10 shots, Harden was on fire, Maxey did good. So I didn't think they really needed PJ's shooting as much, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But it'll be interesting to see how the adjustments make. But just from as a Celtics perspective, I guess I'll dive into it's just the game plan for them is so much different with Embiid on the floor
Hmm.
because like he's their focus defensively. So like they're all about like they would double. They've been creative in the past, I think, guarding Embiid, and that's definitely given him some struggles. And I think that's the reason they've had a lot of success. But it's just it's definitely not it's it's easier without him, but like in a quick adjustment, it's hard. Sometimes it can be harder to figure out exactly what you want to do defensively. And when Harden's as good as he was, you're not gonna have like they almost won the games. Like they should have still won the game probably, but he gave them a lot of issues, and it'll be interesting to see how they adjust in game 2.
Hmm.
And when Embiid comes back, assuming it's some point relatively soon, his knee injury is much worse than we had originally hoped and kind of expected. So I think I saw he's still doubtful for tomorrow at this time, which isn't a good sign for tomorrow's game. But hopefully, when you get back to Philly, he can get some rest in and hopefully be ready to play for those games. But we'll see when the time comes. I don't want to speculate too much, but just just finding a way. But it's more about just finding a way to do what they can do and having these guys step up for him. And then because when they have the confidence, you can get like Melton with more confidence. Like he's been playing well. Maxey's been great. He's been phenomenal this season, so he's not someone I'm too
Hmm.
worried about from that perspective. But having guys that you really trust, super important. And Paul Reed's a guy who I mean, you definitely follow six more than me, so you can speak on it. But I loved his energy yesterday, and I think he's going to be a big part of this playoff run, even when
Hmm.
Embiid comes back. They're going to need because you got the Celtics front line. They don't have that dominant big, but Robert Williams good, Al Horford's good, and they're going to need good minutes from Paul Reed, like the rest of the playoffs. I think even
Hmm.
when Embiid's back, you need probably 10 to 12 minutes, ideally, at least with Embiid on the bench in each game, and he's going to need to be able to contribute with that. And I think having a good start like he had last night will help him do that. So I'm really excited to see how he can do that moving forward.
So next up is New York and Miami. This series has been I know they just played game 1, but I just feel like this series could go either way, and Miami definitely locked in last game and completely overtook the Knicks.
Yeah, they Miami. I think Miami's got has to be considered a favorite in this series, especially how that
Hmm.
game looked. But just one quick note that the injuries for each team is interesting. I'm just under the assumption Jimmy Butler is going to find a way to play tonight. I think most
Hmm.
people are. I think his ankle injury is somewhat serious, but I think most people just kind of assume we just kind of yeah. I think we just kind of assume Jimmy Butler's going to find a way just because he always does find a way to give it a go. Well, that's something to monitor at least. See if that limits him at all. And then Julius Randle is he going to be able to go tonight? I think there's a lot of doubt there,
Hmm.
but I haven't seen much either way. If you have, you can chime in. But that's a big storyline to watch because I think Obi Toppin has been decent for the Knicks, but Randall's been such a big part for them, and he's just been a guy that really kind of helped turn this franchise around over the last couple of years, and he's just done like just a lot for them offensively. He's really because last year he's kind of down. He's kind of stepped back up this year, being an all-star caliber player. And
Hmm.
RJ Barrett's been good. Quickly, he's been good in the playoffs for the most part. and Brunson's like a stud, but they really need. I think they need Randall to win this series. So hopefully he can give it a go tonight. But from the Heat perspective, Bam Adebayo has been kind of disappointing in these playoffs. So hopefully he can get back on track tonight. He does a lot of things outside of like the numbers and stats that are not going to show up. So it's a lot more than that. So he's done a lot more good than myself. Probably give him credit, but I'd like to see him be able to make more of an impact offensively because the Heat without Tyler Hero is big, and Gabe Vincent stepped up in game one. They've been giving Duncan Robinson minutes. I don't believe he hit a shot in game one, though. But they're just going to need guys to step up. Kyle Lowry's had some big moments in playoffs, so yeah, I think he had a good game one, if I remember right. So we'll see if he continues to step up. But I think for the Heat, it's all about Jimmy Butler. He's been elite every time he's on the floor, and if he does that and he gets a little bit of help around him, I think that's all they need to win this series, personally.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. That's the Lakers and Warriors series. Is going to be a dogfight. I really like how Golden State is handling their playoff run, and I feel like they might be a team that can go up 2-0 in the series. But I wouldn't count out the Lakers because LeBron has been on a different level ever since the regular season has started. And I just feel like Golden State is the more intriguing team to watch out for, and I really like how Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, really play offensively, and their offensive playmaking is going to be a nightmare for the Lakers defense, and I feel like the series is not going to be as great as what it is because I think the Warriors are the better and more efficient team.
Interesting. I actually disagree with your overall. Like the points you made were good, but I disagree with his overall premise. I just haven't. That's it. Anthony Davis against Kevon Looney, I think, is going to be the matchup that determines who wins this series because Davis has to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
But I do one thing. The main thing I disagree with you. I do trust the Lakers defense. I think a little bit
Yeah.
more. Guarding Curry is tough, and when him and Clay get hot, it doesn't matter who's guarding them. But Vanderbilt, the Grizzlies have a lot of issues. We don't need to dive into that right now. We'll have more episodes, but the Lakers were fantastic defensively in
Yeah.
that series. A lot of it was because Anthony Davis inside, which kind of deterred what we were trying to do. But I think Vanderbilt's been good. And just Austin Reeves has really stepped up. And I really like the Lakers role players around LeBron and AD. They were sensational against the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Hachimura stepped up, Reeves stepped up. D'Angelo Russell was fantastic. He's a little more than role player, but that's just kind of lumping him into that group. But it's just back. But I think the Lakers will win this series. And I just it's a tough one to pick because I think both these teams are playing their best basketball at the right time because the game seven performance with Stephen Curry was special, and
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be a chess match of a series. There's a lot of interesting matchups that both teams can go with, and just how they're going to defend each other. I assume Wiggins will go on Braun, but I don't know because Draymond had still been he came off the bench in game seven still if I had to get, but I would need to double check. I would because I'm just trying to think of perspective. Because I feel like you have to have Looney on Davis. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
you can't go small. That's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Or at least not for many minutes. And then if Draymond's at the forward, you want him on Braun. They could do that, and they probably will some. And then I'm just trying to think. There's a lot of different. And then Wiggins is probably their guy, the defender they want on Braun a lot, but you got to think about all the matchups. Maybe they do like Wiggins on D'Lo or Reeves. Like there's a lot of different stuff that they can kind of defend, and it's going to be interesting. But then on the Warriors' perspective, it's got to be Looney on Looney on AD, just who they put on Braun. Like it's just going to be super interesting to see how these teams defend each other, and I'm excited for this series. I really do think the Lakers will get them. Just Anthony Davis has been playing. I think he's the best player in this series. I'll take
Mhm.
probably, but I think he is. He's the most important player in the series, I will say, because I think we know LeBron and Curry will show up and be great. But I think if Anthony Davis is, because when the Lakers won the title a couple years back, Anthony Davis just took over those playoffs. I felt like, and he's done that so far. Yes, he has struggled a little bit offensively, but he's he could if he can find a way to impact defensively, he'll be special. But the games the Grizzlies did win, a lot of it was when they defended Anthony Davis well. So some of that does concern me. But I think Looney can defend because we had Xavier Tillman like a 6'7", 6'8" player defending Davis, and he did pretty well for the most part. And Looney has the ability, I think, to do even better than that. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two match up. But it's this is one of the most exciting series I think we've had in a long time. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I hope you're wrong and the Warriors don't win like 5 or 6 or something. I hope it goes 7.
If I had to guess, I'll take Golden State in 7.
Oh, 7. Okay. Oh, you're giving the Lakers a little bit. That's good. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's if you okay. Are we okay? So we're good going over the series. I have one question I want to ask you.
yeah.
If you had to guess right now, would you pick the 6? Are you confident 6 is the one at all?
Uh, I I really think that they have a big margin of winning it all this year. Even if Embiid comes back not as what he's been like with his knee problem,
Yeah.
but he's still going to be efficient in the paint no matter what, and outside of the perimeter. And I feel like if he comes back, his role is going to be off the charts uh, with Harden helping out as well. And I feel like they can have the. I think whoever wins this series goes to the finals.
I agree. I agree.
And
Miami
if
would be tough. Both of them and the Knicks would be tough, but I just think
yeah,
both these teams should be better. But they also the Bucks. So, but so you never know. But I agree with that.
I think if the Sixers do win the series and knock out the Celtics, I think that their chances will be more more better than usual, and I feel like they could win the finals.
I agree. Like if there's a lot of teams who go. If you made me pick a team right now, if like I had to just say who I think has the best chance, I would take Philly. Just I'm interested to see. I hope, and I think they will. I think they have to let Harden kind of do a thing a little bit more often than they have, even
Hmm.
with him on the floor. Like you don't want to let him go ISO ball all game, but I think letting Harden do a thing a little bit more often could be beneficial for them.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of fit that in
Yeah.
because without him being on floor, like you let him do a thing. So I wonder, like Harden should be on the floor. I think probably they probably already did this, but every minute Embiid's on the bench, Harden has to be out there. And I
Hmm.
don't think they did. I think they've been on the bench at the same time before, but it's really going to be interesting to see how they get Embiid back in there because they look phenomenal offensively, like
Hmm.
defensively, and like it's not going to be easy rebounding the basketball and getting all the stops inside, like defending the drives. But offense was great. Like it's even more than just like making the shots. It looks better when Harden's hitting some of those like step backs or whatnot, but just the spacing was great, and I felt like they played really well together. And not saying they don't with Embiid, but sometimes it gets a little like slow and like we see some of those turnovers. I think
Hmm.
I don't think like not a crazy issue, but it's just the spacing was just phenomenal. I loved it, and hopefully they have a good mix moving forward when Embiid gets back. Hopefully it is soon because if he is out another week or so, then they probably don't win this series. You would think,
Hmm.
but it's way off, and maybe they can find a way to get game 2 too, and then we'll see. Then we'll have to reevaluate. But yeah, just I think they're in a great spot, and I feel like they're playing better than Boston right now. So it's all about can they get 3 more? They have 3 games at
Hmm.
Philly, take care of business at home, and let's see if they can advance.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to game 2 tomorrow. It should be a very interesting game to see how the Sixers can continue what they done last night into tomorrow night and see if they can defend the ball on Boston the way they've been, and it should be fun.
Definitely, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what Boston does defensively. I think they have to trap hard more,
Mhm.
make him pass more, and I think they'll do that. And I think the Sixers have guys who can make those shots when they do. So we'll see if those guys can step up again because I think they all stepped up last game.
Yeah, it should be fun.